Howdy y'all, Taheke here and welcome to another adventure! We have just finished the Thavnir arc for the split, because they split it into two. And now we are going to go to Kryle's side, and Kryle's side will include Ishtola, Graha, Alfie, and Ali. And we are going to try to discover why the Forum, which is 99 representatives from two vastly different parties, basically, voted unanimously to not help Eorzea in stopping the towers or finding out how to stop Fandaniel and Xenos. So let's go and find out what is going on. Let's go. Kryle is intent on uncovering the reasons behind the Forum's inexplicable behavior. An unsettling change has come over Sharlayan, but together we will divine the underlying cause of the Forum's callousness. As I mentioned before, however, questioning the counselors directly is a fruitless endeavor. They seem to have already come to a consensus as to what and how little they are willing to divulge. Which is why I began scoring Sharlayan's archives and historical records for any hint of the connection to the final days. Suffice it to say that progress has been slow. There are only so many dusty pages one can skim in a day. But now I have this band of willing reinforcements. The search should proceed all the swifter. Let us reconvene outside Numenon, shall we? Exit the annex to the right, and you'll find the archives to the west edge of the woods. Let's go, peeps! Okay, Crow, we're here. Hi. My directions are easy to follow, I hope. In any case, you stand now before the books of Numenon, Sharlayan's grandest collection of books and tomes. This building is actually only the entrance, one of many in fact, for the archives of Numenon extend deep beneath the surface like roots of a tree. The vast halls of the Great Kubal Library pale in comparison to Numenon's endless maze of subterranean caverns. Any citizen in Sharlayan is free to enter and pursue its shelves. While most of its shelves, only Archons are afforded access to certain restricted vaults. I have dispatched Ishtola and Graha to investigate those. Meanwhile, Alice and Alphino will help me continue my search through the stacks that are open to the general public. Your status presents more of a problem. As a non-citizen, you're only permitted to browse the first floor here of the entrance. Even so, there should be a number of books which touch upon Sharlayan history or foreign policy. Your task will be to find and study the relevant publications. I promise you a working knowledge of those subjects will make it far easier to spot and sort any clues that we are looking for. Let us be about it, shall we? I've told the others to meet us at the stone benches over there once they found something promising. Happy reading! Oh, you're joking. Is that a little mammoth librarian? What? Oh, look at this little mammoth bookshelf! Oh, I want. Oh, he's so happy! Oh, I love you! I love you. Oh my god. Can you do a little happy dance for me again? Come on, a little happy dance. Oh, wait. No, but I love you. Come back. Oh, you're so flippin' cute. I can't even. What is this? Ooh, woo! Okay. Wow. Oh, wow. Hey, can anyone point me in the direction? Oh, reference page. Hey, librarian, can you point me in the direction of books dealing with the final days? We apologize for the inconvenience, but the reference desk is currently experiencing an unusually high volume of requests. Please stand by until this issue is resolved. Hey, look, it's how the servers are. I'm terrible. Okay, well. Time-worn tome. The faded title reads Stewards of Wisdom. Read, yes. During the chaos of the Sixth Umbral Calamity, Archon Nunkarep, founder of Sharlayan, bore witness to the madness and savagery of men brought to the brink of despair. Upon raising a settlement on an island in the northern empty, he instructed his people thus: renounce the ways of war and pursue enlightenment through knowledge and reason. The Sharlayans took to heart the words of their savior, and thenceforth served as stewards of wisdom, on a foundation of accumulating learning and learning how to read. They built a homeland unlike any other, a nation born from strength of minds rather than strength of arms. With knowledge of economics came true trading. With knowledge of agriculture came boundless crops. Engineering brought wells and sewers, ending squabbles over water. Wealth of expertise could be bartered with wealth of coin. And the more their wisdom spread throughout the world, the more mankind as a whole would thrive. And so it was that no matter the trial and tribulations of the age, the citizens of Sharlayan would live by their founders' teaching. For the sake of a better tomorrow, for the sake of a brighter star, they would intrude the tools of war, and with knowledge deliver the world. You know what? They sound a lot like Amaroth, the Amarothites, who would not intervene when their final days were coming, and then it turned into a civil war, basically, and the world ended anyway. They kind of sound a little bit like that. Well-worn manual. This is titled Forever 20 Summers. Read? Okay. My beloved seekers of knowledge, have you ever put learning before your health and neglected to feed the rest of your body as you should? I, too, once engaged in such foolish practices, but one night, engrossed in philosophical study, I had an epiphany. For all the world's mysteries that drive us to reckless abandon, we have so very few years of life to which achieve our goals. Thus do I share with you this mantra: I am forever 20 summers young. The number itself is unimportant. You could be 19, or 23, or 40. Whatever age you are when you discover this manual, let it be the age you aspire to remain. I don't want to be my age. Though mindful, through mindful, healthy living, will you extend the time available to spend upon your chosen research. Another day, another moon, another summer to grasp the greater truths you pursue. In the pages that follow, we will explore the secrets of maintaining one's physical conditioned form from a biological, ethereal, and arcane viewpoint. The book is on the wrong subject. Search for works which contain details of Forum, or mention history of Sharlayan. Blue covered book. An introduction to the heavens. Okay. Have you ever gazed at the skies above and contemplated the mysteries contained therein? I speak not of shifting cloud patterns, but of the vastness beyond, of the sun and the twinkling tapestry of this night sky. Some think the dome above us is a finite space, yet amongst the leading thinkers of our age, one scholar's depiction of a boundless sea of stars has taken root. Alas, this heavenly sea remains an unreachable, unknowable destination. There are few indeed who can explain in satisfactory detail why our own star is believed to revolve around the sun. It was the technologists of Alig who came closest to understanding the laws which govern the starry abyss. It was those who launched Dalamud and sought to expand beyond our earthbound existence. Having read of their ancient ambitions, I wonder, has your interest in this field of study waxed or waned? What if I were to tell you that the eternal constellations were arranged differently in the distant past, that their positions continue to shift amongst them, something I can't say but measurably as we journey into the future? Would it shock you to learn that the stars drift further and further apart, and may indeed do so forever? What just happened? Is this book evil? Okay, bye! Are you eager to learn more? The book is on the wrong subject. Oh. It must mention something about Sharlayans or the Forum. Excuse me. Leatherbound book. No. I guess that one. I mean, why not? Let's look at them all. In the years which... Oh, this is about the city. In the years which followed the founding of Sharlayan, civic policy and other matters of import were decided at the Ecclesia, a public forum in which every citizen is eligible to speak. Hi. Bye. Okay. As the city's population grew, however, the format became increasingly impractical. A large number of participants gave rise to ever longer debates, resulting in significant delays of final resolution. Various measures were introduced in an attempt to curtail... Bye! No running in the library! Various measures were introduced in an attempt to curtail protracted discussions, but by the year 201 of the 6th Astral Era, it was ultimately decreed that Sharlayan would transition to a new form of governance. The nation would now be led by a body of 99 members, citizens chosen from amongst their peers by means of a nationwide vote. Thus was the form as we know it today conceived and created. Okay, so... Cool story, bro. We need to find an... Oh, ooh, there's more books over here. Excuse me? Red covered book. Roads of Old the Colony. That's probably about the Dravanian colony. This story, Sharlayan. Can't get any more than that. Let's read the other one. Many years ago, on the banks of Thaliak and the Dravanian hinterlands, the Sharlayan colony once thrived. The settlement was originally established as a mere outpost to study the etheric sea in the year 1311 of the 6th Astral Era. Scholars dispatched to Eorzea found the facilities wanting, and their demands encouraged a gradual expansion in instruction and service. As rumors spread of a growing community of academics, the area was further inundated with Eorzean students hoping to share in the renowned wisdom of the Sharlayans. 50 years later, the Forum passed a motion to recognize what had become a flourishing town as an official Sharlayan colony. The Eorzean residents took to calling the colony itself Sharlayan, which led to no small amount of confusion when discussions turned to the subject of the motherland. In response, some Sharlayan inhabitants, if pressed for a name, simply referred to it as the Emporium. Following the Great Exodus, however, goblins and treasure hunters claimed for themselves a corner of the abandoned colony and gave it yet another name, Idleshire. The following chapters go to introduce the most prominent features of Idleshire. The book does not appear to contain any additional information on the Forum or cover the Sharlayan history of the motherland. Yeah, but it was still fun to learn. Okay, this one says literally the story of Sharlayan. Long, long ago, on an island in the northern sea, there lived a Ragadan man by the name of Yunkref. Yunkref was a student of astrology, and he divined that a flood of terrifying proportions would soon sweep the lands of Eorzea. So it was that he built a gigantic ship, assembled a crew, and set sail for that imperiled realm. The flood arrived as foretold, and to their horror, the strangely churning waters drove the people towards the ocean. It was there, however, that Yunkref's crew hauled them aboard his ark, but the danger had not passed. A towering wave approached, threatening to smash the vessel to pieces. With only moments to spare, Yunkref drove a mighty spell of teleportations and shifted the entire ship to the safety atop Albathia's spine. Oh my god! That's the ship! That's the ship! I know, I love that ship! There is a ship. I'm gonna have to see if I can find the picture of it. If not, I'm gonna fly over there and take a picture and put it in here. There is a ship in Alabathia's spine. It's at nighttime, it glows this magnificent green. And I've flown by it so many times, like, I wonder what this ship is. It's this ship! That's how the Sharlayans were originally saved! Oh! Refugees from the surrounding regions huddled there alongside them, but it was not long before disputes over the dwindling supplies of food led to violence and bloodshed. Saddened by the sight, Yunkref gathered his crew and his grateful passengers and abandoned the ark to the reddened peaks. They journeyed to the coast where they built a new ship, intent upon returning to the northern sea. They landed on the beach of an island and settled upon that very spot. That settlement prospered and grew, and in time it became the city of Sharlayan we live in today. You have gained a fundamental understanding of Sharlayan history and the foundation of the Forum. Head outside to rendezvous and await your companions. That was cool, dude! You're adorable. I really want you to be a minion. freaking love those mammoths. They're so cute. Oh wow, I was in the library so long, the sun rose. Just waiting for my companions. We all read some books. Woo woo. Okay. Excuse me. Sorry, were you waiting long? Yeah. I'm good. I'm good. I wanted to make sure I'd bought at least a few promising volumes. Alphino and Carl should be along shortly. I was delayed in a similar fashion. As far as I could see, no titles in the Archon stacks mention the final date specifically, so I have no choice but to start with the tangentially relevant tomes, if there are even that. At present, the plan is to skim through as quickly as we dare, and share our discoveries as we make them. It would have been nice to invite everyone to the estate, plenty of comfortable places to read, and a ready supply of hot tea. Well, I was always quite fond of reading outside. But it's not about the little pleasures, is it? You miss your home. It's been difficult. After our arrival, we managed to speak with one of the family servants and ask how things were. It seems our dear father has instructed the staff that even if Alphino and I were to return to Sharlayan, we were not to be allowed access to the threshold. Wow, he's really, disowned you. A harsh measure indeed. I hope that our efforts to understand his position and that of the Forum will perhaps lead to a reconciliation. We'll mend this rift one day, I'm certain of it. And what of you, Graha? Have you been able to visit your family, or do they not live here in the city? Well, my situation is also somewhat complicated. I was raised in Sharlayan, yes, but I was born further away. In the southern reaches of Isilbard, in fact. For generations my people have dwelt in Corvos, a coastal region opposite of the island of Thavnir. The Alligans founded a city in that fertile land, and by ship brought the subjugate tribes from the Okote to serve as laborers. Of course, the massive earthquakes of the fourth umbral calamity brought an end to the Empire's reign. And when the fifth calamity froze the sea solid, many of the tribes still living in Corvos braved the journey back to Eorzea. My ancestors, however, chose to remain that they might prevent the remnants of Allic technology from being misused. Isn't Corvos under Garlean rule? For the past 50 years, yes. Some semblance of local culture remains, as is the case with most imperial provinces, but Garlemald renamed the region Locus Amonis. When I was a boy, a nearby town under the jurisdiction of an illustrious imperial family, the noble house of Darnus. Van Darnus? House Darnus demonstrated a singular interest in Allic civilization, so my tribe was forced to consider a plan of action. For some time already, voices have been raised in favor of abandoning our ancient customs. After all, the Alligan eye no longer passed to the eldest children as reliably as it once had. Fear of discovery eventually tipped the scales, and the decision was made to bury our ties to the knowledge and traditions of Allic. As the last child born of the Alligan eye, I was given over the custody of friends and the students of Baldessian, who had me registered as a Sharlayan citizen. I never even considered, forgive me, it was an unkind question. Even Thengrad was taken in by Archon Louis, was he not? Stories of adopting waifs and rescued orphans were more common among Sharlayans than you would think. Yet regardless of our origins, we are all provided with an equal opportunity to learn, and with sufficient wow, this is really showing how little English vocabulary I have. We outsiders can even earn the vaunted title of Archon. This is exactly why I have such a love for this country, and why I wish to remain a nation of which its citizens can be proud. Hear, hear! Another good reason to get to the bottom of the foreign stubbornness, aside from the trifling matter of our impending doom. Excuse us while I try to make some headway in these books, Saheka. More company should be arriving any moment now. Okay. Wait again. Hello, friends. We've returned with our selections. Oh, excuse me. Oh boy. Although I must say, the pickings were quite slim indeed. Mistress Craw has already flicked through every history book devoted to disasters, and more than a few which barely mention them. As such, we'll be looking into research papers of the Umbral calamities, as well as articles written by prominent forum members. Perhaps their knowledge of the final days comes from an unexpected source. Speaking of which, may I ask you a few questions related to the final days? I'm the only one here who didn't witness the events of Amarat firsthand, and I fear I may be overlooking critical details. You got it! My thanks. Now, where to begin? Well, first, the place was on fire. First things first, what kind of phenomena did the ancients encounter as the final days grew nigh? A complete destabilization of creation magics, primals of morale power summoned from the ether. It was a complete destabilization of creation magics, because that's when they started creating those monstrosities. They couldn't create the same. Yes, the unfolding catastrophe wreaked havoc on all manner of life. The chaos extended to the ancients themselves, causing the values powers of creation to spiral out of control. Fear and despair manifested in terrible, tangible fashions. Meteors rained from the sky, fire erupted from the ground, indescribable abominations prowled the streets. That more or less aligns with my understanding. If only the arts of creation had survived until the present day, we might have found something substantial to analyze. To the best of our knowledge, however, these techniques were not preserved or passed on. Stoller surmises that the closest known magics is that of the summoning rituals promulgated by the Asians. Was there aught else of note which heralded the approach of the final day? The entire star was engulfed by disaster all at once, but they say it began with a kneeling sound from the land itself. Kneeling sound. I'm not going to say I'll take this one. From my understanding, if I'm remembering correctly, the final days didn't start in Amarat. There was something happening outside of Amarat that was affecting creation magics, and they were asking for help, and Amarat refused to help. And then whatever sickness they were calling it reached the city, and that's when the final days started. So the entire star was engulfed in disaster at once, or the ground itself began to quake. The entire star was engulfed by disaster at once. I think you may be misremembering. As I recall, it was more gradual spread. Yeah, okay, I was wrong. The Amarantites spoke of a kneeling sound that rose from the land itself just before a region was visited by catastrophe. We never did hear the sound ourselves, of course. That's why we're in the midst of the madness. So the ground was crying out, you say, to be considered a harboring of doom. That's been quite distinctive, but possibly quite loud. I'll have to speak with one of Nominon's mammoths and ask after any books which make a mention of such a sound. Last but not least, would you describe how the ancients sought to quell this unprecedented calamity? What definitive action did they take? They summoned a primal. They summoned Zodiark. Yes, but Elidibus served as his heart. So many gave themselves in sacrifice to bring him into being. We do not know exactly how Zodiark brought salvation to the star, only that by his god-like will were the laws of nature set right. Then once the balance was redressed, the ancients offered up a further sacrifice to heal the ravages of the final days. Lives sprouted anew, and in these fledgling souls they intended to render unto Zodiark a trade that would have allowed them to resurrect the shades of loved ones absorbed by the primal. Or might have, had Venat and her followers not manifested the opposition in the form of Hydaelyn. Thank you, both of you, for the detailed review. I feel much more confident now in my understanding of events. With all that freshly in mind, it does make me wonder what the Telephoroi truly mean when they speak of bringing back the final days. We've seen what they're doing with these towers of theirs is forcing people to summon primals a kind of catalyst? Are they attempting to mirror the conduit, the conditions to cause instability in creation magic? Or are they simply using the final days as a figure of speech, a convenient metaphor for the scale of destruction they plan to unleash? But that's all pointless conjecture at this stage. Let's return our attention to the forum, shall we? We should keep an eye out for Stola, but 'tis time we began studying these research papers. Are you serious? Okay. This part is a little slow. I mean, yeah, lots of information, great, but oh man, so much reading. So much reading. Ishtola, save me! I'm a black mage. I go boom. I'm the last, am I? My extended search of the Archon stacks produced 1 or 2 possible useful books, but I wouldn't give your hopes up. If you recall, Urianger learned of the source's reflections from the Guram oracles. For its potential to cause panic and confusion, the tome was deemed apocrypha and sealed away at the Great Global Library. 'Tis even less likely that the knowledge of the unsundered world, not to mention the horrors of the final days, would be left sitting on a shelf for any curious scholar to find. It stands to reason, then, that my colleagues, by they archons or counselors, should perforce be largely ignorant of the subject. Yet, when you confronted Master Forshinal with knowledge of the Telefri and their machinations, he scoffed at the suggestions that they posed a threat. He seemed adamant that the Forum would know if the final days were truly upon us, which only supports the conclusion that whatever privileged knowledge is guided by the Forum's behavior is kept secret from the rest of the nation. There's no information about this in the library, so how did he know about it? That's basically it. Not that I mean to excuse myself from reading duty, whether they contain mentions of the final days or no, these books could hold yet some value. You were thinking of leaving, weren't you? There's plenty of work for everyone. Now I gotta read the book too. Meh. Okay, fine. I'll read. It's Ben Daniel here. Judging me. You labor for what feels like ages as Astola's research assistant. Speak of cryo. Oh dear, you look exhausted. What about your studies? Were you able to find any books on the subjects I mentioned? Yes, I did. Then the day was well spent. Should you wish to read them again, a memo at the reference desk will point you in the right direction. For the moment, though, I suggest you take a well-deserved rest. We might be occupied with our research for quite some time. Really? Was it? What? What? 5:30. Okay. Alize. Ready for a tea break, Taiga? I know I am. Honestly, my neck and shoulders are going to calcify if I don't stretch my legs and walk around for a bit. You know the last stand down by the harbor, don't you? Come and meet me near the outside tables and I'll treat you to a coffee. I will never turn down a coffee. This is a girl after my own heart. Coffee! Hey, Alice. As busy as ever, I see. How very Sharlayan that no other gourmet cafe is sprung up to compete for customers. Actually, this crowd gives me an idea. Before we place an order, why don't we ask a few questions to gauge the mood of the city? I'm interested to see what the average citizen has to say about the Telefri. You might even learn something new. Worth a try, don't you think? Alice is now coming. Keep her by your side. Yeah. Talk. Okay. Hey, do you want to talk? Well, what is this? Can a man enjoy a moment of private respite? If you're looking to share a table, then I respectfully request you look elsewhere. You misunderstood, sir. We were simply wondering if you knew the Telefri, those enemies of peace, have promised to end the world. Behold. Wait, you're that house-living your girl, aren't you? And this one with you is obviously a foreigner. I've heard you were disowned for helping outsiders indulge their barbaric whims. And you are giving truth to the rumor. I'll thank you to leave me be. I've not said the likes of you. Well, I must apologize. 'Twas foolish of me to expect 1 ounce of chivalry from one so enlightened. Come, Dega. Oh, wow. They're kind of bad jerks. They're jerks. Hey, are you gonna be a jerk too? Yes, I don't believe I've had the pleasure. Pray excuse your interruption, but we were hoping you might share your thoughts on the Telefri and their unconscionable plans. My goodness, if it isn't the young Miss Levenier. My apologies, but I work in the office of the Forum, and if word reached Master Fortunal that I was helping you... I see. We're sorry to bother you. You okay, Alice? Well, the customers have been decidedly uncooperative. Maybe the staff would be more willing to answer our question. I don't know. We would like some coffee and questions. I'll take a grande soy latte, white mocha. Welcome, madam. What can I offer you today? Wait, is that Mr. Salasay? See that? My word, how long has it been? Far too long. Meet Deacon, the owner of the Last Stand. I used to frequent his cafe on occasion, in between lessons at the stadium. That seems like an age ago now. I remember hearing that you and Master Altano were sent to sell for Eorzea, and then you never came back. Lately, there's been gossip about your father disowning the pair of you. Everything all right at home? It's complicated, and I hadn't expected complete strangers to be so familiar with our situation quite so quickly. Everyone has an opinion, it seems. Well, it is House Levenier, no matter how discreet Master Fortunal seems to be. News of your family's doing never stays secret for long. Things being what they are, what brings you back to the city now of all times? We have questions and only Sharlayan has the answers. Tell me, Master Deacon, have you heard anything about the apocalypse called the Final Days? Doesn't seem like it. Wait, like the end of the world? Nothing like that, I'm afraid. And that's what you're here to find out? Information on this apocalypse? Yes, whatever we can learn. Unfortunately, your patrons appear to be unwilling to speak with me. I wish there was more I could do to help. Maybe there is. You're a visitor to Sharlayan, aren't you? I sure am. Then few will know your face. We should be able to pass you off as a server with none the wiser. We just prepare a few orders, strike up some friendly conversation whilst you're settling down the food. You might get the answers you're looking for. Not a bad idea, I have to ask. What do you think? I'll do it! That's the spirit. Pay attention, and I'll explain which each of these dishes go. The tea is for the chatty group at the water's edge. Tea, water. The omelet is for our regulars, a Highlander by the name of Gilslush, sitting at an outside table with a friend. So tea, water, omelet, Highlander. Behind him you'll see Magote Gentleman. He ordered the oven-baked lobster. Got all that? I'll explain it again. So tea, water, lobster cat, omelet, outside. By the water, they ordered some tea. Oh, my tea set lovely, thank you. Telephone who? I'm sorry, I've never heard of them, or their final days. My friends and I are somewhat uninformed when it comes to current events. Now, if you want to hear about the ritual arcane practices of the 6th astral area, common or esoteric, I'd be happy to talk your ear off. Okay, well, you know nothing. You wanted... omelet. Ah, finally, 2468. Let's dig in, no time to waste. Have you heard about the end of days, perhaps? What, the Telefri? Oh yes, I remember seeing their name in the latest gazette. That and some grand claim about the end of days. Some old senseless warmongering. When will those fools grow tired of spilling each other's blood? But stay out of it, I say. The forum made the right choice, and I fully support our decision to remain neutral. Okay, well, Kode, you had the lobster. At last, the oven-baked lobster is mine! You have no idea how long I've scrimped and saved and suffered to afford this heavenly dish. Have you heard of the Telophorai, or possibly the final days? The final days? This is the first I've heard of it, although that would explain why my friend has been rushed off his feet. It must be a busy time to be a gleaner. A what? Huh, you don't know what a gleaner is? They're collectors of sorts. Travel the world carrying things that we haven't got here in Sharlayan. Priceless books, unusual life specimens, and so forth. Priceless books! He might have a book on the final days! So named for the folk who trail after the reapers in the field, picking up every grain which was missed. Aye, by all accounts, gleaning is the most meticulous and demanding profession. If those Telophorai make good on their audacious threats, many uncatalogued rarities could be lost forever. Why else would gleaners be buzzing around in such a frenzy? Watch the harbor and you'll see what I mean. They're carting loads from the dock all day. I've never seen it this hectic before. Not like this. Maybe one of those gleaners, found a book on the Telophorai and the final days. Any trouble with the customers? Were you able to get to talk to anyone? Yeah, most people don't care. It was in the Gazette, but this one guy said there's a lot of stuff down by the pier. Interesting, they seem unaware of the final days aside for whatever vague news the Gazette is printing. Even Deacon had nothing to offer, and he's the best source of gossip in the city. If the forum does have secret knowledge, then they've done an impressive job to ensure no one whispers it in the wrong ear. In any case, thank you for playing your part so well. Here, the cup of coffee I promised. Yeah, give me my cup of coffee! Let's enjoy a drink somewhere else, shall we? Maybe behind the purse still, away from the gossip and the wagging tongues. I'm running with a hot coffee! I'm running with a hot coffee! Ooh, up! Oh, up! You gonna drink it on the bench? Out of wind and out of sight. Oh, we're having a moment.
When our father disowned us, I couldn't believe what I was hearing. It wasn't until much later that his words began to sink in that I began to feel the weight of what it meant.
Poor thing.
Do you remember when the decision was made to come to Sharlayan?
Yeah.
Graham said that the Forum was determined to keep us in the dark, and that Father's venomous performance was part of that strategy, to keep us at arm's length. Perhaps it was. Father argued with Grandfather on many occasions, but never with such dismissive contempt. And when he demanded what justifies the sacrifices we make in war, I honestly didn't know what to say.
Oh, she's taking this a lot harder, it seems, than Alfie. Or Alfie's just keeping it in better, you know?
Neither did Alpha know, I know, but never for one moment did I believe we had made the wrong choice. So all I could do was fume silently. It was only afterwards that I realized how childish I had been. How being stubborn and self-righteous must run in the family. If I could have just mustered a civil response, then things might have turned out differently.
He's sneaking stuff away? Is this the Gleaners?
They must be ferrying goods to Labyrinthos.
Labyrinthos. Could you tell me what that is, please?
A vast complex beneath the island. Sharlayan is famous for archiving knowledge from around the world. Well, that knowledge is not preserved exclusively in dusty tomes and desiccated samples. Our living library, comprised of all manner of flora and fauna, is housed and studied within that underground facility. still, that did seem to be an unusually large shipment. When I lived here, it was rare to even see such cargo transported by boat.
Sneaking.
Wait! Didn't you hear something in the last stand about the gleaners coming and going more than usual?
Yeah.
Well, I think they're the ones we saw manning those boats. And gleaners answer to the forum.
They know it's the end of days and they're just housing everything. They're gonna... It sounds like they know the end is coming, and instead of trying to help stop the end, they're trying to prepare to just survive the end. They're probably getting all these collectibles and putting them in Labyrinthos, and they're just gonna hide underground.
If the appearance of the Telophoroi prompted this sudden burst of activity, then Labyrinthos may hold a clue as to what the forum is planning.
True. That's why I said they could have a book or something. Because the history... Hold on. Maybe they think that's true, because the history of Sharlayan said that Sharlayan started because someone made an ark and they survived that first calamity. So maybe they think they can do it again. They build Labyrinthos and secure themselves underground for the next calamity. We should tell the others what we've learned about the Gleaners. Go on ahead to Numenon, and I'll join you in a minute. Master Deacon will want his cups back. Okay. Where are we going? Okay, we want to go here. My loyal assistant returns. There's a lexicon on the first floor I need to get. Oh, you found something, haven't you? Yeah, you can't boss me around, Ishtola. I have news! Welcome back to Hiccup. Been for a walk and cleared your head, have you? Not exactly. We did some impromptu investigating and turned up information on the Gleaners. Yes. I was told that the Gleaners are collecting a lot more extra stuff because apparently since the announcements of Telophoroi, something's happening and they're taking it all to Labyrinthos. It makes sense. The Gleaners take their requests directly from institutions and bureaucrats, but as you say, they ultimately answer to the forum. A sudden and significant increase in Gleaner traffic and in cargo, it certainly gives the impression of an overarching plan being put into motion. Let us see what theory we can build from these facts. As Ishtola observed earlier, Numenon's archives appear to contain no information concerning the final days. Coupled with what Teheka and Alisei learned at the last stand, we can be reasonably sure that most Sharlayans know nothing of the particular period of ancient history. Yet my father and his colleagues are not only familiar with the final days, but are also somehow certain that the destruction being perpetrated by the Telophoroi is wholly unlike those apocalyptic events. Moreover, the forum claims to be so occupied by a duty of such pressing importance that they saw fit to unanimously deny Eorzean's request for aid. And now the Gleaners, official agents of the state, have been mobilized in an unprecedented scale. I do not think it is a stretch to conclude that the Gleaners' recent activities are in service to the forum's secretive ends. Agreed. In which case, our next course of action seems obvious. We visit Labyrinthos and assess the situation for ourselves, and if we're lucky, the Gleaners will be far more receptive to our questions. A fine idea. What should we expect? Anything we've... A fine idea. Let's go! I'm glad you approve. You won't be disappointed, I promise. As for myself, there are a few more subjects I would like to research. I may join you later, but feel free to leave behind your borrowed books and be on your way. I'll see that each is returned to its proper place. That would be a great help. Thank you, Raha. Let's head down to the stairs over there, and I'll show you the entrance. So anyone can go to Labyrinthos? I thought that it would be like, you know, like a top secret only club sort of thing. That's how we get in. Ready? Labyrinthos is not too far from here, but you may find a path a bit disorienting. I'll take the lead, so stay close. Follow, say, and try not to fall behind. Off we go then. I walk faster than you. It's pleasant here amongst the trees. Really should move along. I'm ready to move along. Now we run. Try to keep up. I kept up before. Keep to the path, straight ahead. Cross the bridge. Up here. Okay. The rostra. Not far now. Alice, can't you run in a straight line? Here we are, through this door and down the stairs. You did remember to tune the chart back though, didn't you? It will make your life much easier to come back in a hurry. Otherwise, we keep moving. Yeah, I'm attuned to all the ether rates here. The rostra. See this living archive. How did the Forum learn of the final days, and exactly how much do they know? More to the point, what do they intend to do about it? Hopefully the answers are at least one of these questions down below. Don't tell me they befriended an Ascian. I've been to Labyrinthos in the longest time, even as do my visits are few and far between. You didn't take a wrong turn to the roster there, did you? I doubt the Forum would take kindly to bargaining in private session. Barging in. We're all here now, yes? I've taken the liberty of securing information for our group's descent. Right, everyone to the lift. Down we go! Okay, let's see Labyrinthos!
Deep beneath the scholar's city shines a false sun within a fabricated sky. In any age exist those who consider the floor an extension of their bookshelves, and this vault's architects surely belonged to that special breed. If the stack grows too high, start a new one. If no room remains, then make more rooms. A simple solution at first, and then bit by bit, a profound transformation. Knowledge buried beneath knowledge, a growing, creeping labyrinth from which there is no escape.
Labyrinthos. Yeah.
Not what you expected. I must admit, the artifice is very convincing. But I assure you that we are beneath Sharlayan itself. The breeze you feel, the flowing waters you hear, all created by the hand of man.
The island is volcanic, you see, and once upon a time this great hollow must have been a reservoir for magma. It was discovered some 400 years ago, at which point it was repurposed as a storage facility for scrolls and samples and such. Renovations have continued, with nigh on no interruption to this day, with the lower levels still undergoing expansion.
Wow.
Aren't those people gleaners?
Aye, judging by their dress. They are said to work alone as a rule, but 'twould seem that rule is being enthusiastically broken today. It may be as you suspected, that they are engaged in a task apart from the norm.
Yeah, to acquire everything.
Let's spread out and get some answers then.
Okay, Crow? The echo?
Did you call to me just now?
No.
No. How odd. I must be a bit dizzy from the descent.
I think it was the echo. I think it was
I'll be
Heidelin.
fine, I'm sure. Let's get to work, shall we?
But she's also blessed with the echo. Which means she also has part of a sundered soul. Because those who awaken the echo with the hear, feel, think have portions of sundered souls. Okay. Welcome to Labyrinthos. I think this is as good a place to stop as any for now. We've made it into Labyrinthos. It is nighttime though, so we don't get to see the artificial sun in motion quite yet. But we will soon. It's 10:38 Eorzean time. So yeah, we're going to discover the secrets of these gleaners and why they're collecting artifacts and other random things to store down here. It sounds, what I think is going to happen, because there was that one book we read about the origins of Sharlayan, Old Sharlayan. And part of the origins was the Ark that I found. I gotta still put the picture up. That at the end, I think it was the 4th Umbral Calamity. Maybe it was the 6th Umbral Calamity. To save themselves, they created an ark. They went in it, and they survived the flood. Just like Noah's Ark, basically. It sounds like they do have knowledge of the final days. They just kept that information hidden from the citizens. But the Forum knows about it, which is why they voted unanimously. Because I think what they're going to try to do is they're going to try to turn Labyrinthos into the new Ark. That's why they're storing everything in here. I think their plans is to abandon all hope, abandon Eorzea, abandon Hylan, hide in here in this Ark of Labyrinthos. And that's why they're bringing all the... It's like, this is a really bad movie. 2012, I think it was. I think the movie was 2012. Like, the name of the movie is 2012. Where all those rich people were building that Ark and they were bringing all the art pieces and stuff onto there. But then in the end, everyone went to the Ark. Kind of like that. Sort of. There's fates in here? My map says that oh my gosh! What? What? Okay, I got a lot of exploring to do. But yeah, welcome to Labyrinthos. We're gonna continue on this mystery. I think I know why the Forum's keeping their mouth shut, but we'll see. So we'll find out. Until next time, thanks for watching. Bye-bye!